Hey guys, we are back for another episode of Umineko. I think we're on 14 now. So, the mystery part of the murder mystery has begun. Uh, a lot of the conversation now is about who could the culprit be, who most likely is the one who committed the murders, who stood to gain from committing the murders. Um, on Ava and Battler had a big old conversation last episode about who it could be and who Aunt Ava thinks it could be, and then slowly came to the realization that actually Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi benefit the most if you think about it. And then Aunt Ava had to try and explain why it couldn't possibly be her. Blah blah blah. That's I don't fully believe her yet. It's just like her reasoning. I mean, it makes sense, but it also could have just as easily been thought about ahead of time that she could say, well, I can get the suspicion off of me if I say that it's obvious that I didn't do this way or that. I don't know. Um, Not sure what to make of it. I have been told, uh, after someone watched episode 11, the newest one that just came out on the channel, that I should check out oh yes, the character descriptions. I did not notice this. I had no idea. So let's take a look. Uh, we got 6 red ones, obviously. Looks like Kinzo's gray. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea these had updated. So let's check them out. So Kinzo disappeared from his study unnoticed. Kinzo's study has everything from a bed to a toilet to a bathtub, so it's extremely rare for him to go outside. However, he does occasionally go out for a walk on a whim without telling anybody, and his disappearance invariably leads to a huge uproar throughout the house. He usually comes back as soon as he gets hungry. Usually. Okay, so he's gray 'cause status unknown. Gotcha. Now let's, I guess all the other ones are just the same. Let's go through the deaths. So Kraus, his corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. The direct cause of death is unknown, but it seems the side of his head was smashed after his death. After. This is the beginning of everything. Oh, okay. Um, is the blood on the side because that's where he was smashed? Yeah. Like the blood on the characters has to do, I guess, with maybe where they got hit, where their injuries were. Injuries after death, apparently. Rudolph. His corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. His face seems to have been smashed after death. He has a right to lament his ill fortune. Okay. This is the beginning of everything. He has a right to lament his ill fortune. These sentences afterwards are interesting. Corpse was found inside the Rose Garden. Face seems to have been smashed after death. She was chosen by the demon's roulette. That's all there is to it. Okay. I mean, we know that. We know 6 had to be chosen. Rosa. Found inside the storehouse. Face smashed after death. I'll get to see her again so I don't feel lonely. You mean Maria? You'll get to see her again. Huh. If this is Rosa's thoughts, she could either be implying that Maria won't be long behind her in getting killed, and so they'll be together again. Or um Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oops. I'm not sure what she means actually by that. I don't feel lonely. I mean, I'm assuming her as Maria. Could be someone else, but okay. Well, I'll just keep that in mind. Shannon found in the rose garden. Side of her head was smashed after death, so she also still has half a face, as we know. Don't worry, everyone will be revived in the Golden Land. So, Golden Land. You shall attain the power to the Golden Land's treasures. Hmm. See, maybe Rosa is considering this line. That there will be a resurrection of all dead souls, and so she believes she'll be brought back. Maybe. I keep doing that. In which case, that kind of the Shannon's thought also is, assuming these are the character's thoughts. I mean, Shannon's thought also is that she's not worried about this, kind of like Rosa isn't. It's like no big deal almost. Goda, face smashed. How unfortunate. Apparently he was originally supposed to be on duty in the guest house. Wasn't he in the main house? Because Shannon went to the main house. Goda was chilling in the guest house, or in the staff room, I mean. And he had Shannon go in his place to do a patrol. Right? So why was he in the main house and not the guest house? Was he just slacking off? I don't remember if they talked about that when Shannon came and found him in the main house. They might have, but I don't recall. Okay. Interesting things. I feel like Kitty's is the only one that's, just very straightforward and understandable. The rest of them, raise some questions. Are interesting enough to think about. All right. Well, that took almost 9 minutes already. I went a bit slow there. Sorry. Okay. Let's get started. Aunt Ava didn't want to talk any more than that, so I folded my arms and headed to the window to cool my head a little. As I looked over the parlor, I saw George Anarchy and the others gathered talking. It looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted on the shutter. As Uncle Hideyoshi thought back to that time, he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook. I see. Since Maria was second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, she might understand what it meant. That's right. She learned a lot of the occult from Kinzo. Occult and black magic. And has great memorization, so maybe she will recognize the circle from something Kinzo taught her.
多分こんな感じだったと思うで。十字架をアレンジしたみたいなマークが書かれとったんや。
Right.
そしてこんな感じで外周の円を取り囲むように妙な文字がびっしり書き込まれていて、十字架の上下左右の辺とその四隅にも何か書かれていたんや。アルファベットとかそういうのとちゃうで。あれはよく言う古代文字とかいうやつや。
Yeah, not something we can read.
あと円周部の頂点に小さなマークがありましたな。小さな丸を5つ十字状に並べ、 それぞれを直線で結んだようなマークでした。
I don't recall that part, but it was a little tough to see it, the
あ
whole
あ、
thing, because of the
確かに
rain.
そんなのも書いてあったで。うん。図形的には間違いなくこれや。
I wonder if they'll show the drawing he's making.
細かい文字はわからんが、配列はほぼ同じや。
Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it too. From what I'd heard, this had been painted on the shutter to the storehouse with some material that looked like blood. What is he talking about? The 5 circles that were arranged in a plus sign. I'm not seeing that here. Unless, like, this used to be that and it, like, drooped down? Maybe? Not, because they said it was at the top, right? This doesn't look all that different from the writing all around, so I'm not sure. I see. This sure is unsettling.
こんなわけのわかんねえもんを書きたがるのはじいさまだけだろ。まったくどこに行っちまったんだ。
Maria's gonna
捕まえ
say
て意味
something.
を聞き出してやりたいぜ。
Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say grandfather was the culprit, but she seemed sure that grandfather knew something about the culprit's background. Of course, if you were searching for a link connecting the Ushirimeya family to the occult, 10 out of 10 people would think of grandfather. Also, to a person who knew nothing of the occult, this strange mark would have no meaning, which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right, and the reason the crime was shown to the survivors was so they'd find this. I mean, does that imply that someone else knows the occult outside of Kinzo and Maria? Because obviously Maria didn't kill everyone and transport the bodies into the guest house and draw this. That would be insane and not really possible. In that case, where had grandfather, the essential recipient of this message, disappeared off to?
こんな図形に何か心当たりはあるかい？
Yeah, Maria, what do you have to say? Think long and hard. What do you think? Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic because this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand, as though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse.
僕の第一印象ではどこか外国の十字章に似たデザインだなって思ったかな。
Right, yeah, that's definitely what it looks like.
ああ、確かにこんなデザインや。
Yeah.
ということはそのどこぞの国と何か関係があるんか？
その国の十字章はもともと聖地巡礼者を守るための騎士修道士たちの紋章だったそうですな。
つまりこの魔法陣には宗教的な意味があるってことかよ。
Was that cross originally the symbol of the Crusades? Let me just Google Crusades cross just to see. No, sorry, that's definitely not it. Sorry. Okay.
ますますにちんぷんかんぷんだぜ。
Right. I'd imagine it has more connection to something religious than to just something German. When I looked over at all of them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me. Oh my god. That's fucking creepy as hell. That, like, legit... I'm, like, here alone in the dark right now. That legit, like, kind of Kind of like made my heart stop for a second. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? That's freaky as hell. Maria was smiling, an eerie and incomprehensible expression on her face. Oops. It was almost as if she was making fun of everyone's ignorance. It was an expression I wouldn't have dreamed to find on Maria's face. It's, hardly even looks like her, you know? Just the fisheye angle and everything. I'm trying to figure out, it's an interesting reflection in her eyes. I guess it's not important. Just doesn't look like she's looking down at a piece of paper. Oh my god. Wait. Wait. Was I right? This is really fucking freaky. And she laughed. That eerie, jarring laugh was something I didn't want to believe was possible, even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes. Is Maria somehow the culprit here? She's the one who, she's the one who would know how to do the circle, right? Oh, fuck. I need to, like, turn on lights in this room. I'm like... uh, oh. Oh, God. What are we getting into now? Is this like a split personality thing? Or is this just regular Maria? Like, what is going on? This is so weird. I was like anticipating the face was going to change again, so I was like holding my breath, and then it did, and I still wasn't ready for it. It's just because of the atmosphere I'm playing in right now. While everyone was busy being scared out of their wits, Maria kept on cackling happily to herself. After a while, that laugh was suddenly and abruptly cut off, but her expression still looked like it belonged to someone completely different from Maria. She's gone into her messenger voice, or Beatrice voice, or something. Seventh magic circle of the sun. Hebrew. What the hell? Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She's got like two sides to her, and she like flips a switch that we only first saw when she read Beatrice's letter. She then started drawing another magic circle with a rustle, right next to the one Hideyoshi had drawn. Jeez, Maria, come on. Oh my god. Whoops.
Maria, すごいな。さすが詳しいぜ。
That's all you need to say right now? Jessica tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Okay. Maybe she wanted to confirm that this was still the Maria we all knew so well. I don't think it is. Though Maria didn't answer her in any way in particular. Maria began swiftly writing unfamiliar characters in the corners of the shape. When Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo saw them, their eyes immediately began to open wide. Wind, fire, earth, water. Okay. Okay.
そして斜め四方には4代の王たちの名。アリエル、セラフ、タルシス、ケルブ。合ってる？
Even if they hadn't been able to correctly write what they'd seen, When they were once again shown something identical, it wasn't difficult for them to realize the two were the same. When Maria asked them whether it matched, Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again.
間違いない。そうや。確かにこんな文字が書かれとった。なんでこんなん書けるんや。
あと演習部にも文字が書かれておりましたな。
わかってるよ。こうでしょ。
Maria quickly began to surround the circumference with more Hebrew writing.
旧約聖書の詩編第116編の16節と17節だよ。聖書くらい読んでなきゃ。
Oh boy. Acting as though knowing this was only common sense, Maria laughed. For a while, everyone, including me, was at a loss for words. A little later, George Aniki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak.
すごいね。驚いたよ。
Someone needs to ask Maria, if she's feeling
そ
okay.
れで、この魔法陣にはどんな意味があるんだい？
太陽の力を借りる魔法陣だよ。
Power of the sun.
黄金で描き、護符にして身につけたる者はいかなる牢獄であろうとも束縛から逃れ自由を得られる力を授けられる。
束縛から逃れ自由を得られる。
はあ。
死んだぜ。
この束縛という意味は何も肉体的なものだけを指さないと解釈されている。
Right.
だから縛られて牢屋にいる人ばかりに意味があるわけじゃないよ。
I mean, that almost makes me think of the servants, right? I imagine... Well, the servants aren't kept here by force, right? I mean, we've been told that they are allowed to... they usually only stay for a few years and then they move on to other jobs. So it's not like they're in some kind of, a type of prison or kept in bonds here in the house. Trying to think of who else that could pertain to, but
しがらみや逃れぬ運命など精神的な束縛からの解放も意味してるんだよ。
oh, even an inescapable fate. Okay.
しがらみや逃れ得ぬ運命か、これまた意味深だな。
There's a lot of uses for it then, yeah.
しかしさっぱりわからん。それとあの6人の遺体とどんな関係があるっちゅうんや。束縛からの解放どころか殺された上に倉庫に閉じ込められてたんやで。
I'm sure maybe whoever made the circle is not one of the dead ones, and they were the one who was trying to use it.
別にその6人のために魔法陣が描かれてるわけじゃないね。魔法陣のために6人はそこにいるんでしょ。
Right, that's how they, I guess, brought power to it to make the magic happen.
お気の毒だよ。
Lots of new faces for Maria this episode. Lots of new sprite faces.
魔法陣のために6人がいるってのは一体。
Maria lifted up her pointer finger and waggled it as if she were making fun of us.
それは演習部に書いてるよ。読めないかな。詩編第116編16節と17節。読んであげるよ。
Okay.
主は私の枷を解かれました。私はあなたに感謝の生贄を捧げ、主の皆を呼ぶでしょう。ね。
ねって何を言ってるのかさっぱりだぜ。
生贄だってのか。
Yes. Indeed. I mean, Even this calls them sacrifices, right? Whoops. Yeah. Chosen by the key, though. If what Maria had just read aloud was a vital part of the magic circle, then it was saying that sacrifices had to be offered in order for this magic circle to be effective. So, human sacrifices had been offered inside the storehouse where the magic circle had been drawn. A heartbeat later, everyone else seemed to reach the same conclusion. Some people were shocked, and others spat out that this was insane as they punched their knees. This was starting to get incredibly disturbing. I mean, I don't know about starting. It's been disturbing since we opened up that storehouse. And we couldn't accept it or understand it. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses other people believe in. I won't pick a fight with them. But did they really kill Dad and the rest as sacrifices for crap like that? I just couldn't stand that feeling. Compared to this, I preferred it when we were still disgusted by that theory about the fight over the inheritance. As I started getting pissed off with a feeling between anger and sadness, I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. Something had gone insane since yesterday. There was that letter from the witch, Beatrice, that Maria had read aloud at last night's dinner. Ever since that point, it feels like like this whole mansion and this whole island have been getting more and more firmly locked inside some kind of bizarre world. That's right. When I think back on it, that letter was an invitation from the witch. The ruler of the nighttime island had invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. The phone and the radio had been interrupted, and the island was shut off by the typhoon, so you really could call this place another world cut off from the real one by now. So we're not implying we're actually like in some kind of like little alternate like bubble reality where we're in another world, you know, just in the sense that we're cut off from everything else, and now, you know, weird things have started happening. Yeah, as this island is now, it's perfectly normal for a witch to send us letters and for human sacrifices to be offered up for the sake of magic circles. So what will happen next? Will some weird people wearing goat masks start doing the Bond Festival dance or something? It's hopeless. It's hopeless. I don't get it. The inside of my head's all screwed up, and I don't even know what to think. Anger, sadness, the opposing emotions all swirled up together, and they started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I could do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands and trust to my mind and body as I started getting sucked in. As I started losing heart, I began to recall a memory from when I was small. It was from when I was very young. I had unfortunately seen a scary occult movie on TV, and for a while I hadn't even been able to go to the bathroom by myself. That old bastard gave an exaggerated laugh and said this.
なあバトラ、どうして悪魔だのオカルトだのってのをわざわざこうして映画にすると思う？
Hey Rudolph, you doing okay in the storehouse? I would say it's nice to hear your voice again, but you were always kind of a dick, so, I mean, it's alright.
ねえからだよ。そんな滑稽なもんは地球のどこにもねえのさ。
I don't believe it.
ねえからわざわざ見たくて作るんだよ。だから俺はオカルト映画なんてちゃんちゃらおかしくて笑っちまうってんだ。
That's why those occult movies just make me laugh.
俺に言わせりゃ悪魔やら妖怪やらより今年度の収支報告や機嫌を悪くした女房の方が1億倍も怖えってもんだぜ。さらに言うぜ。 俺に言わせりゃな、怖がるってのは心と生活にゆとりのある連中の娯楽的感情なのさ。
Getting scared is a recreational emotion, something for people who've got room to relax both in their hearts and their lifestyles.
暇で暇でしょうがないから
That's an interesting way to
連
think
中
of
は
it.
変わった感情で心を遊ばせたくて、悪魔だのオカルトだのって文化を作り出したんだよ。
Huh. Bye, Rudolph. Seriously, why have I been acting so damn thick-headed? I was totally taken in. Don't try to mess with me. This is the human world. I don't give a damn about witches, demons, magic circles, and sacrifices. The human who killed Dad and everyone else is still on this island. That's all there is to it, right? The next person who started speaking to my heart was Kitty-san.
チェスや将棋ってね、終盤の終盤、詰めの最後の段階に入れば入るほど最善手は限られてくるのよ。
This music, man. I like it. I'm moving back and forth. Number of optimal moves you could possibly make it smaller and smaller. Right.
だから自分が追い詰めている、あるいは追い詰められているというその時、両者の手は限りなく読みやすくなるのよ。
In a way, yeah.
つまり完全に追い詰められて打つ手なしって思ったその時こそ最も読みやすい瞬間なのよ。
Okay, I get the
でも
idea behind
主
it.
勢に立った人間はどうしても考えが固くなって相手の手を読むことにまで考えが至らない。そういう時はね、チェス盤をひっくり返すの。
Ah. With all my strength, I slapped my face with both hands. Now my eyes were truly open. When you don't understand anything, and you're completely cornered just like I am now, isn't that the perfect time to spin the chessboard around? While on the defensive, we can't even guess at the culprit's scheme. If we spin it around and look at it this way, look at it that way, just what might we see? First off, at the time the culprit committed the murders, they knew the island was being cut off by the typhoon. Therefore, they should have understood that even if they carried out the murders, they wouldn't be able to get away early the next morning. In short, the culprit had begun without securing a way to escape. Sure. Furthermore, that bastard tossed the corpses into the storehouse. Then was even kind enough to say, "Here they are," with that weird bit of graffiti. In other words, since we'd probably find the corpses sooner or later, they wanted to show them to us. If we'd all been dim and hadn't noticed the storage shed, the culprit's goal would not have been achieved, would it? If you think about it this way, that bastard of a culprit, since this morning, they must have been watching our every move with bated breath. After all, if we hadn't been so kind as to discover what was on the storehouse, all of that hard work and prep they did last night would have just gone poof. What did the culprit want to make us feel by showing us the corpses in the storehouse? All 6 of the bodies had their faces noticeably destroyed. Was it a grudge? A warning? The defacement of the bodies had occurred after death, so it hadn't been the means by which the culprit had killed. I really like the music. It goes really well with like the switching into detective mode and like thinking about all this really, really deeply. It didn't mean anything to those who had been killed. It did have meaning to those who found the bodies. The culprit wanted to make it appear that they had been killed so brutally. Ha. After thinking this way, I really want to tell that bastard to stop taking me so lightly. Who'd just dance to that tune? If you're told please be scared, you can't just say really? Sure thing. When someone tells the great Ushirimiya battler, the entrance is right here, I'm the kind of guy who'll start wanting to sneak in through the window. The next thing that had me concerned was that so-called magic circle on the shutter. As Maria, who had shown that her knowledge of the occult rivaled grandfathers, had recognized that magic circle was genuine. They must have drawn that thing in pitch black darkness, taking a lot of time and holding an umbrella in one hand. Oops. Isn't that amount of hard work and perfectionism impressive? What purpose would have been worth all that effort? If we were looking for a fan of the occult in this mansion, most likely all of us would naturally suspect Grandfather. Did they want to make us think Grandfather was involved? But if that's all they wanted, they could have just drawn any old scribble that looked like a magic circle. It wasn't like any of us amateurs would be able to tell the difference between a genuine and a fake. However, this magic circle was genuine, and furthermore, it had even been written in Hebrew. So this magic circle had a message that only could be understood by someone with knowledge of the occult. A message is a form of communication. That it is, Battler. By sending it, they were hoping for a reaction. A reaction. For some reason, we couldn't find Grandfather now. I don't know how Grandfather might have spotted the magic circle on the shutter, but did he choose to hide himself in reaction to that? No, it was a trap to make us suspect that Grandfather had participated. You could read it either way. Damn, that's annoying. What kind of reaction was the culprit hoping to get out of us by putting on this occult show? Somehow, that felt like the culprit's weak point. The letter from Beatrice that Maria had read aloud during last night's dinner sprang back to mind. This was a freak who'd asked us to enjoy a battle of wits. Isn't that interesting? This is a battle of wits between us and the witch. Will we be sucked up by her occult game first? Or will we pull off her fake skin first? Okay. There's a whole day until the typhoon passes. Why not enjoy ourselves? Oh, that's true. You know, I hadn't thought about that. But the typhoon's going to be gone in a day. And I kept thinking like we were going to go day by day through all the twilights, you know. I guess that's not so. Why not enjoy ourselves? Alright. It is early, but I am tired and I'm going to head off to bed now. So I'm going to end the episode a little early this time. No worries. Trying to get an episode out every day at the moment. And this is the 4th one. So I got the next few days lined up. And alright. So we've started thinking about the murder case from an analytical perspective. We're dropping our emotional attachment to things, or Battler is, and he's gone into detective mode. He's gone into the battle of wits mode. People on the island versus the witch, he says. Which is an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, it goes along the line that someone here is pretending to be the witch and is trying to get a reaction out of everyone. Did all that stuff to the bodies just to try and affect the people who are left. But to what ends? Why do they want them to suffer? How will that help? How will that... When Kinzo had discussed... I mean, he talked a lot about magic and risk And obviously there was a risk that he would be chosen by the Demon's Roulette last night. I do wonder if magic potential also has anything to do with I mean, obviously the culprit is trying to cause despair and suffering to these people, to the ones that remain. There has to be a reason for this. There has to be something to gain. And I wonder what that is, and whether it has anything to do with with the risk and reward magic potential. I don't know if the pain and despair and suffering has anything to do with something similar as far as magic potential or something. Probably not, but just a thought. All right. Well, thank you all very much for watching. A new episode will be out tomorrow, and we will continue from there. I will see you next time.